diversity, the holidays, and your state of being. I want to talk about the power of our existence from a present standpoint, the power of our presence, which essentially emanates from the state of being that we're in. There's a lot of different states that we can be in as we go through our day, our lives, our working everything, our home everything, our holiday everything. We live in states of being. Now, process that for a moment. Think about what states of being there might be. You can be in a calm state. You can be in an activated state. You can be in an agitated state. Your state of being affects your body language and your overall glow and presence. There are times when my state of being is fierce. I am rising to a challenge, sometimes a fight of some sort, and there's times when that is the most powerful state to be in. There are times when I'm in a loving state or a caring state or a nurturing state. And I want to talk about what I believe is the most powerful state, or at least the state of which I have the most respect and hold in the highest esteem. And that is the grateful state. My father was a world religions professor and a pastor. And I grew up hearing a lot about yin and yang and about Buddhism and about different religions. And we would also go to church. I would go to church and hear my dad speak as a Christian pastor, a Presbyterian. And then at Sunday lunch, it was always this special time. We would read from scriptures, and it was a short little beat, usually, in our Sunday lunch. But what scripture he was reading from seemed to change a lot. There were times when my dad was reading from the Quran. There was times he was reading from the Bible. There were times that he was reading Buddhist scriptures. He had spent a lot of time in India. He had spent a month living with Zen Buddhist monks in Japan. And he brought a lot to those dinner conversations. There was one day in particular when I was finally getting it. He had had a rabbi over for lunch after church at one point, who was a friend of his and a fellow college professor. And he told me to hurry up and make sure I get home. I had run off to play with my friends after church. He said, "You got to get back here. We have a lama here." And it was a traveling lama, probably from Tibet. And, in my head, I was expecting an alpaca or something, So I ran home and I went to the backyard looking around for the llama. And I didn't understand why all there was a whole bunch of Indian people in my house. And gradually it started to set in on me. My dad really had a connection to the world and a diverse love of differentness. He loved differentness. And what you can learn from different is something you can't learn from same. And that's what he taught us by bringing in different religions. There was one day when he was so excited because he said, "Dean, I've got a Zoroastrian in my class." He had studied powerful religious leaders. And what tended to exist was a state of gratitude inside the most powerful leaders. Didn't mean they didn't ever change their presence or their state. But leading from a state of gratitude is one of the most powerful states to be in, because when you're grateful, everything's good, everything makes sense. You're coming from a there place. You're already there. So he showed me a writing from a Native American tribe who honored their enemies. They really honored their opponents, their opposition. They were the fierce opponents to which we would go into battle, but they honored the enemy. They came from a state of connection to their higher purpose. So they were grateful. And the grateful state changes the game. At Sage Presence, we work on appreciating. Appreciating is the activity that creates the grateful state. But from that grateful state, things are good. Challenges are good. People often talk about turning a challenge into an opportunity. By appreciating that challenge, it becomes an opportunity. So the holidays, in a lot of ways, all holidays are a version of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is about giving thanks. But a birthday is giving thanks for being born. Each holiday is thankful for something, and each holiday begats the grateful state. And when you can be grateful, You can include and celebrate what's different and learn and grow from it together in a more cohesive, better intertwined world. So this is why holidays are so important to me, because holidays promote the grateful state. Find it, feel it, and extend it out into the rest of your life. Don't let it stop with the end of the holiday. Bring to your world and your work the grateful state, and what you will get is a more inclusive world that's better at embracing diversity and is signified by our celebration of life that comes through the grateful state.